home and welcome to the Jonathan Ross Show. So, just before we get my guests out, here's what caught my eye this week. Now, we normally don't like to talk about politics on this show. However, every now and again, a story breaks and we feel it's our moral duty to comment on it. And this week, the Prime Minister was at the centre of one such story. I'm, of course, talking about the hairdresser in Somerset who made what looks like a rug of Boris using leftover hair from her floor. That's right, a woman swept up all the unwanted hair, made it look like Boris Johnson, and then she called the papers about it. I've never been prouder to be British. Would you like to see the finished product, ladies and gentlemen? I'm warning you, it's a bit of a shock. Have a look at this. That's funny, isn't it? Just when you thought politicians couldn't get any more creepy. Ironically, the hair on the hair version of Boris looks neater than the hair on the actual living version of Boris. Also, that serves as a warning for Ed Sheeran, because that might be what the future holds. If you can't tell the scale from that picture, the artist posed with it for this one. Look at the size of it. That's big. It looks like she's caught a Tory whilst out on safari, doesn't it? Now, I love this time of year because it's still crisp and dry enough to start the day with a lovely walk with your dog. I don't know if we've got any dog lovers in. Do we have any dog lovers in? Yeah. Me too. And it always puts me in a good mood, and I'm sure that most people would agree with me. Certainly, this dog walker would agree with me. Look at this man.
Don't even fucking talk to me.
A lovely, refreshing walk with his dog. But if you're going to spend more time indoors with your dogs, it's likely you're going to see things you weren't supposed to, like this boy who got caught sneaking around for some food and then he tried to style it out.
Excuse me? Nana. Are you doing dishes? I hope so.
We've got a packed line-up this evening. Shall we get my guests out, ladies and gentlemen? First up, I'm excited he's back on the show. He is the king of bake-off, the prince of pies, the sultan of sponges. It's Mr. Paul Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, Paul. And we have a bona fide music legend who sold over 80 million records throughout her stellar career, the princess of pop, the one and only Kylie Minogue. Lovely to see you again, Kylie. You're over there. Next up, a brilliantly funny comedian who swapped a promising teaching career for stand-up and huge Netflix movies. It's Guz Khan. And on the show tonight, two fabulous Hollywood stars from the new Marvel series, Hawkeye. It's Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner. Thank you for joining us. All of this, plus she'll be joining us for a chat later on before performing with Kylie at the end of the show. The fabulous Jessie Ware, ladies and gentlemen. Let's all sit down. Can you believe that it is the 20th anniversary of I Can't Get You Out of My Head? Can't Get You Out of 20 years ago. That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's
scary.
Such a huge hit. What do you remember of that time? What do you remember of making the track itself or the video?
The video, one of the hottest days in the UK. OK for me, my outfit had a lot of ventilation.
Well, let's have a look. Yeah, your outfit, there are a lot of vents in your outfit, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah. But the dances, yeah, it involved getting into air conditioning units, and it was a fight.
Yeah.
Where could they ventilate?
It's kind of weird, because now, looking back, now we're used to seeing people dancing with face masks on, but back then it was a bit of a novelty, wasn't
I
it?
know.
But they had the full visor.
Yeah.
Are you a fan? Were you a fan of Kylie back in the day, and today, of course, Paul?
Yeah, huge. Especially, I think when the Neighbours Day is where, obviously, when you're in the Neighbours, when it came to my attention, yeah.
But did you watch it?
You're not embarrassing me while you're doing it.
Did you watch it at lunchtime or after?
Normally in the evening. I think about 5:30 in the evening.
You dirty old
Good.
baker.
Oh, it's working.
Yeah, of course. Guys, what about you? Was that your kind of music?
Listen, not usually, but that was a banger, and I think everyone realised that.
Yeah.
But Paul, I'm going to back you on here. I'm sure you guys feel the same. It's kind of surreal being in Kylie's presence.
Oh, yeah.
You're like a unicorn, Kylie. You're not even real. And you know how I knew Kylie was making moves, even out there in the West Midlands? This is like 10 years ago plus. When Asian uncle taxi drivers were busting out that song on loudspeaker, I knew they were getting all the lyrics wrong. I can't get you into my head. Trying all kinds of shit, but you know, Kylie, that's a level.
I'll take it.
That's a real crossover hit when that's happening.
Yeah.
And it was a hit in America as well, so you guys must have known about that song as well. Were you a fan, Jeremy?
Yeah, man, she's tremendous. She's a legend.
And Hayley, you would have
100%.
been... You're the youngest person on the show tonight, of course, but I know you're a fan of Kylie's now.
Yes, absolutely. I will tell you, you have appeared on many mood boards of mine and reference photos. Yes, anytime, especially with my music, you are very influential to me.
Oh, thank you so much.
And since last time you were on the show, Kylie, I read that you have moved back to Australia to live. So we're thrilled to see you here. But is that the case? Is that your home now, or are you going to still split your time?
I'm not going to be too... Well, I am going to be very far, actually. I said the other day, I started to say to a friend, it's not like I'm moving to the end of... Oh, yeah, it is the end of the year. But, no, I'll still be splitting my time. Yeah.
And you know, when the news was announced, were you surprised at the reaction? Because it got a big reaction over here, didn't it?
Oh, I didn't announce it. For me, it wasn't a thing. I've always split my time. But, yeah, all this... It was crazy. It was crazy. I had people texting me, leaving me, I've got to see you before you go. I'm like, well, firstly, I'm still here, and I'll be back. But yeah, it was beautiful, overwhelming.
Yeah, so because I'm glad, because I read that and I felt sad, I felt disappointed, because you're kind of ours now.
I know, it's weird, right?
And you must feel that way about us a bit, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the great news is Kylie's still making amazing moves. The new disco album is incredible, and you're going to be performing a track from the kind of revisited, reversions of it.
With Jessie Ware.
Amazing.
Woo!
Well, we've got that to look forward to at the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be great. You know, but we're also so lucky to have on the show, we've got Jeremy and Hayley, who are two of the best actors working in film and television today, and both of you nominated for Oscars. Hayley, when you were just young, and you were nominated twice, Jeremy, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
That's actually, we met around that time, right?
Yeah.
It must be an incredible day when you go to the Oscars, you've been nominated, and presumably you have speeches prepared.
No, nothing. The only thing prepared is the next 10 minutes, the next moment, and just kind of enjoy the ride, you know. I had my mom as my date, which is the coolest thing, at least for me. I don't know what she thought, but yeah. I had my mom as my date for 2 years in a row, and, you know.
So were you there the year that Hayley was nominated then as well? That was 2010, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so you were with your mum. Who were you with?
I was with my mom, my dad, and my brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were just a kid, of course, and True Grit, which was an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Just an amazing film. What was it like working with, because the rest of the cast were kind of essentially grizzled old men. You had Matt Damon, Jeff Bridges, who was like, played as even... How was it for you as a kid working with them? Did they have to mind their manners working with a child? What was it like?
Oh, did they? Yes. I very quickly started a swear jar on that. Which, by the way, you're lucky I didn't do it on ours. I guess we'd probably be pretty even. But anyway, I was 13, and there were a lot of curse words flying around. So I started a swear jar, and it was $5 for the F word and $1 for any other word. And I was just raking in the cash, so...
And also, ladies and gentlemen, we've already said hello to him, but we're in the presence of a master baker. Mr. Paul Hollywood is with us this evening. So, Paul, always loved having the show, and it's nearly the end of this current series of Bake Off, and it seems to me, and like, you know, I'm an avid fan, maybe the highest standard so far. I mean, incredible people you have on that show.
I agree. I think this year from the off, I think when I first saw Giuseppe's mini roll, with all the detail on it that was on there, it was just incredible. And from that week on, it's just been solid all the way through. I mean, obviously they make mistakes, but overall, the standard has been certainly the best I've seen.
What have been any standouts, any stand-up people or stand-out bakes?
I think that there's been quite a few. I mean, I thought Freya did an amazing job because obviously she was doing it partly with a hand tied behind her back because you're going against guys who are using almost the full-blooded version, like the full leaded petrol.
She was cooking vegan cooking, wasn't she?
Yeah, and so, but some of the stuff she produced was incredible, tasted amazing. I knew that anyway. We know historically that vegan bacon is very good, but to have someone challenge everybody else with pure vegan bacon was a real challenge for her. She did well.
Would you consider becoming a vegan yourself or a vegan baker?
No.
When you make the show now, and I mean, we've got used to it now, but, you know, you guys are all in a bubble together.
Yeah.
Which I guess you have to be a show like that, where you're interacting with each other much more than on most TV shows. Is that fun? Because you sort of move into, like, a small community almost with the other hosts, with Prue, of course, and the bakers.
It was like a baking cult, obviously, because we did it last...
You know what? You've got the piercing eyes of a cult leader. If I was going to follow a cult leader, I would eat the poison sourdough if he told me to.
But ultimately, last year, the weather was better last year during lockdown. And this year, when we went into lockdown in the hotel, the weather wasn't as good. And then we had these nights where we had to entertain, you know, the crew and everybody else. So Prue did flower arranging, which was very popular.
Did you go to that?
No. And then Matt did a bingo night, which was very good with all his voices, which
Did you
was
go to
very
that?
clever. I did.
Yeah.
And Noel and Birdie did an indie night of music.
For DJing.
Yeah, that was great.
And what did you do then?
I taught 25 of them how to use the nunchuckers.
Wow.
So I've got these foam, you know, the foam. I've used them on here.
I've seen you do. He's
so-
good with the nunchucks, ladies and gentlemen. But I can't think that's necessarily a fun night for anyone else.
Well, the thing is, these are just foam ones. So
Yeah.
they weren't going to hurt themselves. But it's just something to do. It's sort of kill some time.
And has anyone kept up with the nunchucks?
Yeah, they have. I was with the crew recently filming Extra Slice, and a lot of them were saying that, yeah, they've kept up with them and doing really well.
So you've spread some good, even if you're not going to become a vegan baker, you've spread some good in the world.
Don't start, Jonathan.
Kylie, do you bake? Can you bake?
Well, I have in the past,
Yeah.
but I'm not a baker, but I'm willing to learn.
Do you like bread?
Do you like bread?
Like sourdough?
Yes.
I'm going to make you a sourdough.
I'm going to hold you to that for sure.
What about you guys? Are you handy in the kitchen?
I can't bake for shit.
Yeah.
So, like, Nando's usually does all my food. That's the kind of brother I am. Paul, you know, I feel like we're left out, innit? Kylie's getting all these sourdough. We're just old Harold and Madge to you, innit?
Yeah.
I love making pizzas. I can do pizzas.
Yeah, if you do it, pizza. Yeah, that's better.
I can make a pizza.
You like pizza?
Yeah.
What did you make? Did you make it at home, or did you make the dough?
Yeah, well, no, I bought the dough.
Here's the amazing thing is, you know, like, Bake Off's become such a part of all our lives. And this is the 12th series. And you're the only person, of course, who's been on all of them.
I love Bake Off. It's sort of part of me now, and it's become very much part of my life. Right?
Yeah.
And every year, we've still got some of the original crew that have been from the very first programme.
Yeah.
And it's lovely because every year we get together, the team is still there, the family's still there, and the new bakers enter the tent. It's just fantastic.
Could you envisage a time when you didn't want to do it, or would it just be something that you always were there for? If
They're going to have to wheel me in. I'll be one of them.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to blitz everything for me as well. But ultimately, now I love that show. I think it's such a... For me, it's almost evangelistic, being able to teach people and show people how easy baking can be.
One of the things we love about Bake Off, and who knew that this would be something that came out of the show, because we came for the baking, we often stayed for the innuendo.
Yeah.
Because often someone will say something and it will be misinterpreted or deliberately misinterpreted, disinterpreted.
Yeah.
We've got a clip now. This is Prue saying something, and I can see that you struggle often to keep your composure. Have a look at this.
Let's have a look at your filled one. It's got a chantilly cream with raspberry jam rippled through.
You give me an empty bit. It's important you get the filling right the way round.
Yeah.
Quite often I need 2 holes so that I can squirt. You squeeze the bag.
Yeah.
When you meet that little bit of resistance, usually means it's full. Why are you laughing?
We're just children.
Sorry, Dame Prue.
Exactly. Stop this nonsense.
I love Prue, don't you? Stop this nonsense. Don't go away, because we'll have more from these guys in just a few minutes. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. Jeremy, Hayley, I want to talk to you about Hawkeye, because, of course, most people know you as Hawkeye, Jeremy. I mean, that
that right?
That is a role which you
or
have...
Jeremy.
Yeah, you have made your own. Big in the Avengers, big in the Marvel Universe, but now with his own TV series.
Yes.
Coming, you can watch it on Disney Plus. It premieres on November the 24th. I've seen the first couple of episodes, which I love. What can we expect?
More than 2 episodes. There's gonna be some bows and arrows, and Haley being tremendous. You know, yeah, it's like a 6-hour film, if you will. So we're really excited about it, man.
But it must be great for you because we get time to know your character more, because I love the Avengers movies, but of course they're juggling like 15, you know, main characters. And they do it amazingly well, bearing in mind but you never get to spend too long with anyone particularly. And so this gives us a chance to get to know Hawkeye a bit better and to see you more.
Yeah, there's the intimacy sort of part of that gets a part of this, but then there's new characters, and you know, Haley being, you know, the best part of that coming into this, because her character and mine really have to kind of coexist, I think, to flourish.
Can we talk about your character? Are you allowed to talk in advance about it? Because I know sometimes there's secrecy in advance of these things coming out, but you're pretty instrumental to changing his life.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been so incredible to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and to be playing Kate Bishop, nonetheless, a character that people have been really excited for a while now to see her brought to life. We've got quite the fun dynamic we get to play too. Kate is a huge fan of Hawkeye, and they go from this sort of, you know, she's overly excited until they've like become partners.
Yeah, it's like stalker to partner.
Yeah.
It's the first off scene that I loved. I can't wait to see the rest. Let's get you excited as well. Have a look at this.
You're a Hawkeye.
Who the hell are you?
Some people have actually called me the world's greatest archer.
Are you one of those people?
It's the most wonderful.
Hey, babe, I should be back in a day or 2. Hang on a second.
With the kids jingle belling and everyone telling.
Things have gotten more complicated.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the most wonderful time. Yes, the most wonderful.
This is too dangerous. Definitely not this one.
You don't have to say definitely like that. Holy shit! There are arrows more dangerous than that one?
It's great, isn't it? And I love they said it in New York at Christmas time, because we're heading that way. It just feels so Christmassy as well. Is that a big thing for you and your family?
There's so many little ones in my family now. My cousins have kids, so it just is like, I've always loved Christmas. I've always loved the holidays. I feel like lately I've been trying to find ways to like make it exciting for the kids. And last year I do you remember this?
Oh, yeah,
I brought
snow.
like snow in, you know, because we don't get that.
You brought snow in from where?
Like from a truck.
Oh, to Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Where it's like sunny all the time?
Yeah. That's
So
it.
where did you steal the snow from?
Jeremy's house.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a snow machine?
Yeah.
No, I live up in the mountains.
Oh, so a truck went to the mountains, loaded up with snow.
Yeah.
How did it not melt?
Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions.
Well, that's a lovely thing you did that for the kids.
Yeah, now I just have to figure out what I'm going to do this year.
Yeah. Guz, I'm assuming you probably don't celebrate Christmas.
No, but I feel like a double waste man at the moment because these guys are doing incredible things, like bringing in snow. I bring in the wheelie bin from the driveway, mate. That's what is the difference between America and us, mate. My God.
Is that a family tradition near Christmas time?
Come on, baby boy, go and get the wheelie bin, bring it to daddy. There you go. Let's watch snow, man. That's how it goes. But I feel, do you know what? Tradition, I've always felt bad for people celebrating Christmas because what you have to do is you have to purchase toys for your kids and nieces and nephews when it's full price. If you're Asian and you don't celebrate Christmas, you buy that shit the day after 55% off.
Yeah.
I do the same at Easter. Mash bare Easter eggs for like a third off, mate. You're not wasting your time. Just shift your dates.
Yeah. Let's go back to Hawkeye, because it's quite stunt heavy. There's a load of action going on in it. Do you do your own stuff or you don't do that? Because I know you've had problems in the past. You got injured, didn't you?
Yeah, not on a Marvel movie. Yeah, I broke both my arms on a movie called Tag. And I went to the hospital on my lunch break, and they said, "Yeah, you broke your elbow and you broke your wrist."
Hold it. How did you not know you'd broken both? What kind
Well,
of
I know
Superman
it
are you?
yeah, that's it. That was coming back from the dock after lunch. But you know, we figure it out. You know, you just kind of move through it. And
Hold it, but Jeremy, my question stands. How did you not realise that you had broken 2 of your 4 limbs Was the pain not excruciating?
It was enough pain, but I did the stunt again, and then that happened, and yeah, then the arm started to swell, and I figured, yeah, something's probably broken. It's a
So you
natural-
broke both arms and then you did the same thing that caused you to break your arms.
Again. Yeah.
Again.
I still worked the rest of the day.
That's a great, what a
And,
great attitude.
just
That's
kept-
a great attitude. isn't it?
Just kept on going.
I don't have that. I don't have that kind of attitude.
Yeah, I did get stuck in the bathroom, though. I realized, like, you know, I could do, like, this movement, but any this kind of movement, I was kind of screwed.
Wow.
So I remember, like, maybe like a week into this process, I was gone for like 2 hours stuck in the bathroom because it was a round knob. Usually if it's like a lever thing, I could like move an elbow. I had my pants around my ankles, stuck in the bathroom, and I couldn't open the round knob. I'm kicking the door, I'm like, I was totally stuck.
Well, what did they do with your arms? Did they, in the filming process, in the Avengers? Because presumably you had casts on.
I was healed up even during that film, and then by the time Endgame came around, I didn't have any of the braces or casts on.
Right.
So I just kind of continued on. I mean, I was pretty weak in my hands.
Yeah.
As far as like, you know, gripping a lot of strength. I was carrying around that big disco glove, that, what do you call it?
It's the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, that's
Not a disco glove.
the disco glove thing. I like run with it a lot, you know.
Guys, have you done stunts in your stuff? Because you play a driver in the new movies on Netflix, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But can you drive well?
This is a very depressing night for me. I'm never gonna make it to the MCU. He's out there making movies with broken arms. I had gas earlier on today and I was gonna pull out the show.
That's the British attitude towards it.
Oh, God. Yes, we did some stunt driving.
And so, do you bring those skills home? Because you've done a bit of driving in the past, I believe.
I have, yeah, but not very well. So, by the time I was 22, I don't know what you guys call it in the States, but I'd written off 6 cars. No, it's accident. I didn't do it on purpose. You lot are oohing and ahhing. Crashing through your nan's house. No, it wasn't like that. But to become a better driver, you have to push the car to its limits, right?
What were you trying to accomplish?
I blame Vin Diesel and all those guys. Crazy shit.
And I believe, though, for your film, you were trained by your father, weren't you, Hayley?
I was, yeah.
Is he a professional trainer?
Yes.
Was it weird being trained by your father, or did you find it easier, or was it slightly
Oh,
annoying?
yeah, that's my dad.
Wow.
Was it easy? Well, not particularly. Where I thought maybe it would be, we'd start training and I'd look at him and I'd be like, where did my dad go? I wanted to get to a place for this that I felt so confident mentally and physically that by the time I got to set, I could have anything thrown my way and not be intimidated by it. And all I had to do was tell him that, and he made sure that that was the case.
Kylie, your mum joined you on tour once or twice, didn't she?
Oh, my mum was always on tour with me, like bringing home the band and, you know, 4 dancers, clothes and hand washing them in the
So
bath.
was she
and rolling.
just doing that? Was she working for you? Was she working on the tour? Was she doing
I
that
don't think
just
she
to
was
be...
on a payroll back then. She probably progressed to being on a payroll until I sacked her.
Oh, no.
At a certain point in the quick change, which is, it's like a Formula One pit stop, you know, 100...
Off come the hot pants, on goes the bubble skirt. Yeah.
Exactly. And I just thought, come on, let's move you out of here. So I said, all right, you deal with family. If Dad gets to come on the road, you figure out what time the red wine's open. So it's briefed for post-show. I just gave him another position.
So you kept them with you, but in a way where it wasn't stressful.
It wasn't strenuous.
For them or for you.
Yes.
Paul, you worked with your dad.
I did.
Early in your career. And he was kind of a mentor figure to you, wasn't he?
He was. He was a good baker, my dad. And ultimately, he was quite... I think it's quite difficult to work with family because you want to find your own way sometimes. And if you're in the same business, which is what my dad was, I just wanted to expand. And it's very difficult because I think he was harder on me because I was his son rather than, you know, the other guys that were working for him. He gave me more shit. I remember one day, the head baker was off. And I had to do everything on my own. It was my first day on my own. I was really scared. And I managed to get everything to fill the shop. The shop looked amazing. I had all the cakes and all the scones and pies and all the breads were all done. I remember at the end of the day looking at everything going, I'm really proud of that, you know. And my dad walked in and he took a glance at all the racks that were sort of sitting in the bakery, walked past, and just before he left, he said, bottom tray, you burnt a couple down there, and walked off.
Wow.
And I was gutted, absolutely gutted. So
Paul, do you still talk to your father?
Yeah, I do.
But was that him being tough on you to get the best out of you?
Maybe. But praise was something he found difficult to do, I think.
And what's he like now? Because seeing your success now, because you are, I think, without fear of contradiction, I could say you are the most famous baker in the land, right? Yeah, and fully deserved. So presumably, he must be proud of what you've achieved. Does he tell you that?
Yeah. He recently said something to me which choked me up a little bit.
What did he say?
He said to me, he gave me a hug, he said, I'm really proud of what you've done. And that's not really what my dad does. He was very much like the Victorian dad, you know. And to hear that from him, sort of, I broke down a little bit. But I think ultimately, it sort of made me the character I am. I'm quite tough in the bakery. I know what I want. And I suppose that's probably why I am as I am in the tent, because I want them to do better.
Yeah.
You know, I think you guide someone. You've got to teach them as well. You can't just say, that's terrible, get out the tent. I want them to learn. The person that wins Bake Off is the one that goes on the biggest journey.
Yeah.
And that's what makes, you know, the Bake Off the Bake Off. So I don't want them to leave the tent. Of course I want them to stay. I don't criticise them for criticising's sake. There's always constructive criticism to back all that knowledge up.
I don't know if you know this, but we have a potential new member of the Marvel Universe with us right now.
Is that right?
Have a look at this. This is from the beginning of this week's episode of Bake Off.
It's free from week.
What does that mean?
Well, it means this week we've got a vegan bake, we've got a dairy-free bake, we've got a gluten-free bake. Like this stuff here.
Right, has anyone told Paul yet?
Yeah, I just told him a couple of minutes ago.
And he was fine with that?
Yeah, absolutely fine.
The Scarpa.
Actually, that's really nice.
You're good, Paul. The semi-final of Bake Off, by the way, is on Tuesday on Channel 4 at 8 p.m, so don't miss it. You think Mark Ruffalo's got anything to worry about?
Yeah, maybe.
Don't go away, we're going to have more from these guys in just a few minutes. See you after the break. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, I want to talk to you. I've been a fan of yours. I loved you in Man Like Mobeen. Do you watch Man Like Mobeen, ladies and gentlemen? He's amazing in that. I'm enjoying you on Taskmaster.
Thank you, mate.
But now we see him, the big Netflix film, Army of Thieves. If you haven't seen it, could you explain the film for us, guys?
Yeah, so it's about... it's technically a prequel to Army of the Dead.
Which was the Zack Snyder zombie movie,
Zack
yeah?
Snyder, big hit last year. And, yeah, so it's about a group of us who are heisting in Europe, and there's specific vaults that we have to get into. And as you can see from that poster, I'm really into baguettes.
It is a big thing. Your character has a sort of sandwich fixation.
Yeah, I know, and it was kind of embarrassing because the dude that actually came out to do those stills, he'd done, like, Ben Affleck and done all these massive, like, DC movies, and he's asking other people to get really sexy with it, get your gun, get your sniper, and he's like, guys, get your baguette.
Yeah, but it's great to see you moving up in that area now. I mean, you're essentially a movie star now, Guz Khan.
I don't know about all that, but it is mad. Like, back home, obviously, they still see me on the street.
Because you still live in Coventry?
Yeah, still in Cov, so everybody still sees me about. Yeah. Are people from Cov in here? Yeah. Are you from Cov? Whereabouts in Cov are you from? Don't give me your address on TV, because someone... What area?
Walsgrave.
Are you from Walsgrave? Yeah. Shit area, bruv. Don't...
Yeah. You live next door to your mum still?
I still live next door to my mum.
That's nice. Do you ever work with your mum? We talk about people working with their parents. Would you work with your mother?
It was such, like, it was so beautiful that you shared those stories. Like, you know, you had that moment with your dad. My mum thinks I'm a dickhead, so... And I'm beginning to understand why. You guys took your mum to the Oscars, yeah?
Yeah.
Where do I take my mum?
Where?
Lady Godiva statue in the city centre. And there's a little pervert that pops out of a clock at 12 o'clock, so no wonder she thinks I'm a dickhead.
Because do you know the story of Lady Godiva? Is that there was a woman rode through town naked on a horse, but no one was meant to look. She was a noble woman.
Yeah.
This was supposed to have happened in Coventry.
Yeah, no, it did happen in Coventry.
Yeah. And, but one one person popped out and had a look at her. It was like a peeping Tom. And this is who your mother saw. When you took her...
So somebody decided to immortalise that in a clock in the city centre.
So they immortalised the peeping Tom, the pervert?
Yeah, this dude came out with a raging boner at 12 o'clock. Every single day. And the worst thing is...
By the way, I can see you guys want to go to Coventry now. Yeah, put that on your list next tour. Now, guys, how long were you teaching for? It was quite a long time. Was that 5, 6 years of your life?
I mean, you train for a year.
Yeah.
So that's when they test to see if you can actually do it. If you're good enough. So then you get a little certificate and they're like, yeah, you can teach. I think I only then did it for about 3 years before I stumbled into it.
And you quit about 6 years ago, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was the day? What was it made you decide you want to quit? Had you started doing comedy already?
Not really. Again, like, I suppose it's a story worldwide. When you're from a working class, tough town like Coventry, you don't really do this acting stuff. This is not a dream that you do. You work, you go to school, then you die. That's the plan. So when I stumbled into comedy, it was still really surreal. And I was at a time in my life where, like, for the first time, I was being sensible. We just had my daughter. So everything's going OK. Guz is, you know, behaving himself for once.
Keeping it together.
Yeah, yeah. And then the comedy thing started kicking off. And so I remember someone who's really important, super pivotal, she's called Jill Isles. She was the producer on My Like Moby. She didn't believe me. She's like, oh, you must have done stand-up and stuff for a few years. I'm like, nah, man, we're in Cov. If you don't believe me, come and have a look.
Yeah, yeah.
So she travelled from London to Coventry to meet me in school, and I only had an hour slot.
So you were still working as a teacher?
Still working as a teacher.
When you started making Man Like Mabib?
Yeah, at the same time. So she came to see me, and, like, the first memory she still tells me is that when she got there, like, I was all hot and flustered, and I was breaking up kids, because one of the kids had told the other one that he looked like David Cameron.
Oh.
So they were swinging it out.
No wonder there was a fight.
Yeah, I know, because that kid was like, yeah, David Cameron shagged your mum. It was a very serious situation. So I had to break that up. It was very serious.
So you were in a very tough situation there, but showing off, no doubt, your skills in diplomacy.
Well, exactly. Well, a little bit.
Yeah.
I put them both in a cupboard, but it worked. So it's fine.
Didn't you put one of your fellow teachers in a cupboard once?
Yeah, he was a dickhead as well.
Yeah.
Only because he was a hater. So he snitched on me and told, like, the senior leadership team, like the principal and stuff, that I hadn't been marking my books.
Had you been marking your books?
I had to be marking the books, but that's not the point. You're not supposed to snitch. You're not supposed to snitch, so I just locked him in the cupboard because it's pissing me off.
You locked him in the cupboard? I like the sound of your teaching skills. Jeremy, what about you? Because you've had a career, I mean, you're a big star now, but I guess for a while you were a jobbing actor, and traditionally, normally you need other jobs to do to keep body and soul together when you're waiting for the next gig.
Yeah. I've worked since I was 10 years old.
10?
Yeah.
What were you doing when you were 10?
10, I was a paper boy. It's like I got caught stealing something, and then it was a label maker. And I know.
It's an odd thing for a 10-year-old to steal.
Yeah, I know. But so I corrected the behavior with my mom and dad and things, so I got a job at 10 and got a paper route, and then I bought a bike, and then got a bigger paper route, then I bought a scooter, and just kept going. But then, I moved down to LA with the, job as a makeup artist for a good 8 years.
So you were skilled as a makeup artist. Presumably you trained a little bit for that.
Yeah.
Did you do like fancy makeup, or was it like film makeup, like for?
No, it's more like street makeup. It's more like beauty makeup.
Oh,
yeah.
so a bit like glam stuff.
Yeah, wow. Essentially, I just found interest in it because of I couldn't sell shit. I mean, I just really couldn't sell makeup. But what I could do is witness and understand another human being. Just ask a few of the right questions and understand why someone wants to put this on, and how and why, how much time they have to spend, and what are you trying to achieve. How do I make someone feel beautiful? Because it starts here, and I'll apply it to make it match.
And so you did makeup for what kind of events, like weddings or for fashion?
No,
shows?
I worked at a lot of cosmetic lines, like Lancome Cosmetics and MAC and Laura Mercier, Bobby Ball, all these sort of things.
This is the most surprised I've ever been.
Did
you know this about him, Bailey?
It's a weird thing for me. It was a weird... Yeah, if I thought about it, it seems like a weird job, but it makes perfect sense to me, in my mind.
No, it's a great thing. I
So-
just hope and pray that in the next season of Hawkeye, when you get one of the arrows out, there's like a powder puff on the end. It'd be great. Imagine if you had enough money that you could afford still to have Jeremy Renner come and do your makeup.
Yeah. I do it once in a while still for, like, sister's wedding, or...
Oh, that's so sweet.
If it's my same sister getting married again, I'm like, hey, man, maybe you gotta get a makeup artist this time. It's like, I'm not going to keep doing this.
Do you think the marriage failed because of the makeup the first time?
It's not my fault. Don't blame me.
I'm just asking.
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
I say no.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. What was the first time, Kylie? Let me go back to you. When was the first time when you thought, OK, I want to be a performer?
I didn't really get into performing till I was the ripe old age of 11.
And what were you doing then? What was your first job?
Australian TV show. The first one that I was on, weirdly, Jason Donovan was my brother.
That is
in
weird.
it. Yeah, I got a job on one show and they said, oh, there's this other one that just an episode we need a kid. And it was Jason Donovan, who you guys might not know, but I have a rich history with this guy.
It was the greatest on-screen romance Australian TV has ever seen. You know, I mentioned Guzzi's movie, and I just want to mention it again for you. It's called Army of Thieves, and it was #1 in... How many countries was it? It was 90, I think. 90 countries it went to #1.
It was quite a few, yeah.
That's huge. And, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the man from Coventry in the #1 movie on Netflix in 90 countries. So you get... Finding yourself, do you get recognised anywhere else outside of the UK?
Yeah, I do. Let me tell you a story. So when we were filming this movie in Prague, it's the middle of a lockdown, and it was the first technical lockdown, so people were like, psh,
So it's tight. People were worried. They didn't know what to do.
Yeah, they're scared. And we were there, and you get to have like an hour walk after you finish and that. So me and my mate who's with me today, we're walking through the city centre, and you haven't had much human contact apart from the people in your house. So there was like a party going on in a flat, and we can hear this like, yo, vibes and that. Let's check in and see what's going on. So we were approaching the door, and as we were approaching the door, like two very nice young ladies were stumbling out the party, and one of them locked eyes with me, and she said verbatim, "Wow, your face like a sexy." I don't really get that in my life at all, bro.
Yeah.
So first I thought she was taking a piss. I was ready to throw down with this lady. Like, yo, if you was playing games, but no, she was being serious. She said, "Your face is like a sexy," and I was like, "Yeah, okay then." I caught a little vibe. I was like, "Okay," I was feeling myself. And then she proceeded to take a shit in the street.
Wow.
Real life. Can you imagine how that made me feel? Bad day.
Anyway, in case you haven't seen it, this is Guzzi's film. Have a look at this.
Best drifter you'll ever meet.
So there's your ticket.
Don't park it in. I'll be back in 15.
Wish is my command.
Hey, here you go, sir.
No tips?
No problem. See ya.
There you go. That's done in Army of Thieves, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to bring out another guest, which means we have to say goodbye, I'm afraid, to Hayley and Jeremy. So will you join me in saying thank you to both of you for coming? Meanwhile, don't go away, because Jessie Ware will be joining us for a chat and perform with Kylie after the break. So let's get my next guest out. I'm a big fan. She's a fantastic pop star who's going to be performing Kiss of Life with Kylie at the end of the programme. But first, we have time for a chat with Jessie Ware. Join us. OK, well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Jessie, you're going to be doing Kiss of Life with Kylie at the end of the show.
I
Were you a Kylie fan before you met, before you worked together?
Kylie was my first gig.
Wow.
When I was about 6, Mum took us in a limousine. It's all gone downhill from there, I think. But, like, took a limo. We had a new Henny's outfit, and we got in there, and she was like that. We didn't have the best seats in the house, but...
Well, she's only about that, though, really, isn't she?
Not
So
much
it's
has changed. But it was amazing. We've loved her in our house forever.
How did the duet come about? How did this happen?
I did your podcast, which is amazing, which you all know of, Table Manners, and yeah.
Well, I'll ask you about that.
And it was on the doorstep.
Yeah.
That we, after the kind of work was done, and we were like,
snuck
we've
it
got to
in.
work together. Yeah. And a year later, here we are. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So the podcast that Kylie
Yeah.
mentioned, that's Table Manners, which
Yeah.
you do with your mum.
Yes.
And we were talking to people earlier about working with their parents. How is that working with your mum on a podcast?
It's interesting. It's excellent. The cookbook nearly killed us.
So this is, we should explain what's the idea of the podcast?
So the podcast is essentially Mum and I invite a guest, such as Kylie Minogue, or we'd have Sadiq Khan, Paul Hollywood. We're really
You
trying
had
to
Paul
have with this.
McCartney. You had Paul McCartney, didn't you, as well?
We had Paul McCartney,
Amazing.
Sir Paul. Yeah, we cooked for him, and we made a fool out of ourselves. We basically had a Barney. Mum and I it's not very professional, but anyway, we cook for the guest, and we talk about food memories and all of that. And we had a Barney in front of Paul McCartney, and
What
he
was
found.
what was the Barney about?
She was her and Mary, who I love, Mary McCartney. They were talking a bit too loud, and I knew I only had like about, an hour with Sir Paul, and he was talking about a tongue sandwich that he used to have when he was in Liverpool when he was younger.
This is an actual dish. This isn't a kiss.
And I told my mum to shush, because I couldn't say to Mary, shush. And so Mum went, what? I've been slaving away all... anyway, it went on, and Paul was just there commentating everything. It's like, and this is what's going on, please. So anyway, it was very funny, and apparently he loved it, so, yeah.
But it's a great idea because I suppose it's the mother-daughter relationship you get
Yeah.
in it, and you're sharing food with people, which is such a kind of important part of all our lives.
Well, it's an incredibly, disarming thing. It opens up a different conversation, and it's very, very relaxed.
So, Guz, favourite food when you were a kid growing up? Something your mum made or something that you used to get elsewhere? What did you love?
No, I loved all my mum's cooking, incredible cooking, but we're big fans of chicken fillet burgers where we're from.
Wow.
Big fans. And not none of the big brands, like a local the grimier the better.
Yeah.
And those burgers
From
make
a
blood, sweat and
knockoff,
tears.
not even a KFC type thing, just a knockoff, like, House of Chicken. Not
Just
like
CFK. You know what I mean? Just remix a little, mate.
Well, you should invite Paul on the show.
Listen, my mum's here.
Because your mum's a bit of a fan, isn't she?
She's a massive fan.
I'll do it.
She... Really? Promise?
Yeah.
We say it's... where's Lenny somewhere? Where are
Lenny's
you?
here.
Lenny.
Hi, Mum. Look, Paul said yes now.
Yeah. Hello, Lenny. Hello, Lenny. We don't have a microphone over. Oh, well, we do.
Oh.
Lenny, what is it you like about Paul Hollywood in particular?
The eyes.
The eyes. So that's... But it's a hit, your podcast, so you're going to carry on doing it.
It's a hit.
You took it on tour, didn't you?
We took it to Edinburgh, and we're taking it on tour. And Mum, I don't know if you know, we're just adding another London Palladium because it's doing so well.
Wow, the London Palladium.
You can't back out now.
Table Manners with Jesse and Anywhere Live. So you'd have Paul on. What about Guz?
Yeah, you're cracking me up. I've been sitting backstage just wanting to go. You're brilliant.
Thanks, mate. I would love to come on. Yeah. What do you like about me, Mum?
Everything. I think that was a gestural everything.
She said everything but the eyes. So what she wants is... I just remember, we got Kylie on the show, and you know what? We always love having you perform here. You brought the album out last year, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
This is the guest edition. This is you doing versions with other people as well. Who else is on here with you? Who else is on the album?
Well, aside from Jesse there, Years and Years, a.k.a.
Ollie,
Ollie
young Ollie.
Alexander, who we love.
Yeah.
That was a new song for the album. I've got a remix with Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa,
of Real
amazing.
Group. And then hovering there is a duet with Gloria Gaynor.
Wow. Yeah. Disco royalty.
Yeah, it's just...
And didn't
it's
you
something-
sing on one of the tracks on Ed Sheeran's new album?
I did BVs on one of
BVs?
songs.
What's that?
Backing vocals.
Come
on,
Jonathan, you know.
Come on.
Did you know what BVs were?
I never knew, but you should not be doing backing vocals on no Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran should be doing backing vocals all over the disco.
Well, let's say he owes me one.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he'll do the next album. So listen, Kylie and Jesse are going to perform for us now, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to send them off because they're going to get changed for the performance. So let's say goodbye to the fabulous Jessie Ware and the fabulous Kylie just for now. We'll be back over in a minute. So if you want to head off... We'll see you in a minute on the main stage over there. OK. Oh, I wanted to make something Paul's doing because, Paul, you're doing a tour as well, aren't you?
I am. Next autumn.
You've done this before, haven't you?
I've done 60 dates in the past, about 8 years ago, which I really enjoy. This one is going to be, again, very much audience participation. I bake live, got loads of questions, get them on stage, set them challenges.
Your eyes, right? Everyone does talk about your eyes, okay? They are piercing blue, ladies and gentlemen. A snowy, icy blue. Not unlike a snow leopard or a mountain gorilla. However, on stage, do you cheat the lights to make them look bluer?
Well, I've never worn contacts or anything like that, no.
Open your eyes up a bit, they've gone a bit squinty. Let's have a look. Look at those eyes, ladies and gentlemen. You have got... Gaz, he's a handsome man, isn't he?
Yeah, you're mad sexy, bro.
Yeah. Will you join me in saying thank you to all my guests tonight, ladies and gentlemen? They were all amazing. Thank you all for being here. Join me again next week. Here on the show, we've got Kevin Hart on the programme, David Williams, Westlife will be here, and we've got Mel Giedrick and Sue Perkins, plus Louis Theroux, so it's a packed show. But now, with Kiss of Life, here they are, those fabulous disco divas, Kylie Minogue and Jessie Ware.
And here next Sunday, we're celebrating the biggest night of the year. Join us for an exclusive star-studded event with an audience with Adele at 7:25, followed by even more famous faces. Ant and Dec are back with the brand new series of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here at 9.